Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. If you saw the last video, you know we're back on the road travelling north to visit a part of the Scottish coast, the east coast, we haven't been to before. All part of our plan to try and explore the whole of the coastline of Britain. At the last video we stayed at a campsite near Jodrell Bank, which we went and visited. So in this video, I'm going to show you two more places we went to while we were at the campsite. One is Quarry Bank Mill, which is a fascinating place, tells you all the history of the cotton industry with some really interesting demonstrations by very knowledgeable staff working there. Then Little Moreton Hall, which is a 500-year-old building, probably best known for the wonky bits. And then as we moved further north, we visited Salt's Mill, in a place called Saltaire near Shipley, which is another UNESCO World Heritage Site. So we're slowly ticking those off our list as well. And that's a very interesting place. And we spent quite some time there having a look round at the mill and seeing the village of Saltaire. So I hope you enjoy the video and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.
Perched on high stools at these desks and behind. They kept the accounts up to date, handled correspondence, processed payments and chased bills due. It was their job to record the raw materials coming in and the finished goods going out. So made sure you got paid and that cash was ready to pay the workers when they came to collect their money every Saturday. And there's the safe.
I'm just going to take the tail end off here. On the end there. I'll lower it down. This next bit's very, very easy for me. I bring the thread up, round the groove, and out the hole at the side.
to a little hole at the end. As soon as it emerges out of that hole, it gets put through 2 little rollers. And that combination of the hole and the rollers causes it to be squeezed into that lovely thick rope of cotton that you can see. Because it's a hybrid, it's a cross between 2 earlier machines. So a mule in nature's a cross between a horse and a donkey. One of the machines that it's crossed with is the jenny, the spinning jenny, and it just so happens the word jenny can refer to a female donkey. Because its mother was a female donkey and its father was a different animal altogether, they thought it would be highly amusing to call it a mule. It's doing it in exactly the same way as the spinning wheel, so the spinning wheel uses a spindle and a bobbin. This one does too, but instead of having 1 bobbin and 1 spindle, it's got 560 all going at the same time. And there's a little pulley about 1/3 of the way up on every shaft. Each individual pulley has got its own particular drive belt, and the other end of that drive belt, it kind of crosses over like a figure of 8, goes round a long tin roller, goes the whole length of the machine. Now we can turn the roller from the headstock where all the gears are. When the roller starts to turn, all of the spindles turn at the same time and at the same speed. And we can alter that speed if we need to. So on the way out, in my little spindle, where's it gone? Oh, it's found it. So this is a spindle on a spinning wheel. You'd have it horizontally at that kind of an angle with the cotton coming off like that. This is the mule, so the spindles are vertical, but you've got to keep that angle, it's got to come off like that. When the carriage goes out, the spindles start to turn, they go to the top of the spindle, the cotton then jumps off the top and it gets twisted. Give that a bit more, be able to see better. So it's going out, the spindles are turning, cotton's getting twisted. When it goes back in again, an arm comes down and it lowers the height of the cotton. So when the spindles turn on the way back in, they're actually winding the cotton onto the bobbin. So you spin it on the way out, and you're winding on the way back in. I'll give it a couple of runs and let you see it.
This is very weak, so again drafting, and then it's spinning from the nip of the roller to the ring there where the machine gets its name from.
So is there's two bits going in to create that one?
Yeah.
Little Moreton Hall is a moated, half-timbered manor house. It stands on an island surrounded by a 33-foot wide moat. The earliest parts of the house were built for the prosperous landowner William Moreton in around 1504 to 1508. The remainder was built by successive generations of the family up until 1610. The building has been described as a feast of medieval carpentry. It's basically an oak-framed house set on stone footings. The various additions to the hall mean it has a top-heavy appearance. It's also incredibly wonky, which you can see from the outside of the house and really notice from the inside. It's long been thought that marshy ground was the reason for the extensive settlement of the building, but trial excavations in the orchard have proved that the ground is dry. Most of the settlement is probably due to the addition of the long gallery, with no provision being made for the extra load on the first and ground floors below. Many of the Moretons have disappeared into history, leaving very little behind apart from this iconic building. It is clear they were wealthy and keen to assert themselves locally. They were a powerful family who bought up significant amounts of land during the Black Death. The resulting wealth allowed them to build the ostentatious Little Moreton Hall. The Civil War saw a dramatic change in the family's fortunes. They were associated with the royalist cause in a region dominated by parliamentarians. As a result, William Moreton III and his son Edward were imprisoned in the early stages of the war, and they were not allowed to return to their estate on their release. The running of the house was left to his two daughters, Anne and Jane. The hall was confiscated by the government, and the two women rented back the hall at an extortionate rate. They even had to contribute to the cost of parliamentarian soldiers and their horses. By the time William returned to the hall, he had no hope of repaying his debts. After the death of William Moreton III, care of the house fell to his children. Their generations of the family were the last to live at Moreton Hall. The house was then rented for over 200 years. With little interest from the owners, the Tudor building remained in its original state, rather than being modified to suit more modern tastes. The hall was inherited by Elizabeth Moreton and then by her cousin, the Reverend Charles Thomas Abraham. But restoring the hall was beyond his means, and he offered the hall to the National Trust in 1937.